AskSteveForFree.com.
It's the Ask Steve for Free program. I'm Steve Garland. This is Stephen Fundos, managing partner of the United Law Center. And we do these videos, why? To answer your questions. And especially if you're in trouble, we want to fast track the questions and get them into an answer on tape because, as we've said before, sometimes one problem happens over and over again. So hopefully, one of these videos you'll say, that's me. Now, in this case, we're talking about somebody who has been promised a modification program. And we've seen this in seminars too. Why does it take 30 to 60 days to buy a home and to get my loan approved and move in, but yet to get a loan modification from the same people that gave me that first loan seems to take a year or 2 years?
Well,
why?
It's a question that every person that comes in asks me. And because everyone that has attempted to get a modification knows the rigmarole that you go through in trying to get one, where they lose your documents, or they need another signature, or there's a different program now, or they need your new tax documents, or they need this, or they need that. It just goes on forever and ever and ever. Reality is, and this goes to my second truth, which is the modification process is part and parcel of the bank's scam. The banks make more money not modifying your note than they would if they modified it. And I will explain how as quickly as I can because it's very complex, so just bear with me. When you sign that promissory note with the bank, when you enter into a mortgage, the bank doesn't keep it for their own assets. No, they sell it off into what's called a pooling and servicing mortgage-backed security trust. Okay? And that's a trust that is on Wall Street, and you can actually buy securities in it. But that trust contains, say, anywhere between 1,000 to 10,000 different promissory notes just like yours. Okay? So your note is no longer with the bank. It's over here in a trust on Wall Street, and the bank is merely servicing your note. So they're called a servicing bank. They get paid every month. You pay them $1,500 or whatever it is. They get a little slice of that, and they send the rest off to the trust. Well, there's a provision in that trust. It's called a pooling and servicing agreement that puts the trust together. There's a provision in that pooling and servicing agreement that says if one of those promissory notes goes into default, the servicing bank is now labeled as a special servicer, and they're entitled to more money per month. So what incentive do they have to modify your note when they're getting paid more money a month
to not modify it?
Wow. So, and that provision can last up to 2 years. Usually they're 1 or 2 year, depending upon the insurance company that actually backs that. Because remember, if you're not paying your mortgage, how is it that the servicing bank is getting anything? Well, that's because before they entered into this trust, they insured it by companies like AIG, which went under, but of course they got bailed out.
Right.
So AIG insured that trust to make sure that the servicing bank would get paid that additional money as a special servicer. So that's just one way. Now you multiply that by millions and millions of notes, and you're talking about trillions of dollars they're making, just not modifying it. Now, a second factor in this is that sometimes they put you into what's called a trial plan, and they'll ask you to make trial plan payments. And they'll say, well, if you make these payments for 3 months, we'll give you a modification. Sometimes that 3 months goes on for 6 months, 6 months to a year to 2 years. And you're paying that trial plan payment thinking it's going to pay down your mortgage. It actually goes directly to the bank and or the trust.
So they're making money.
They're making money on a second
payment,
yes,
and from the insurance company.
Yes.
So they're getting their money back to stall you.
Right, absolutely stall you. Then what happens is they deny your modification. They put you into foreclosure. They sell your house. Let's say they sell it for something less than what is on the note. Then they ask the government through the TARP program, which was the money that we bailed out the banks, a third level
revenue stream.
Right.
For them.
And they apply with the government through the TARP program to ask for the difference between what they sold the house and what was owed on it. So not only have they made all their money on the note, but they've made money as a special servicer, and they've made money as someone collecting the trial plan payments. Why the heck would they ever want to modify a note?
Yeah.
So it's
the way it's been structured sounds
all
like
about
it's all
dollars.
about the banks and the servicers and the people who funded the insurance
Yes.
getting money while the American homeowner gets the shaft.
And folks, you need to listen to this again because I know it's sometimes very complex, and I even have to think twice when I'm reviewing this stuff. But go back and listen to what I just said again because it's very important. And this isn't just me talking. This has already been determined by congressional hearings and testimony by different banking institutions and people that were involved in this. This is fact. So you just have to bear with me and realize that that's the reason you're not getting your modification done as quickly as they can, and also why they ask you to go into default before you can get one.
We've heard this in the seminars too. People will say, "Well, gee, I was told that I can't qualify for a loan mod unless they're able to show some sort of hardship."
Right, and that hardship, the bank claims, is you being behind. Well, I can show a hardship without someone being behind on their note. But the bank does that, so it triggers
the money.
that provision that says they become a special servicer and get more money per month. So don't let them fool you.
So if that's you and any of this sounds like one of the pieces of the puzzle that you have not been able to put together, the United Law Center is the place where they're putting the pieces of the puzzle together even as the banks are moving the puzzle pieces to make it more difficult for you. So press the big red button, ask a question, or if you're close to foreclosure, make sure and go to the front page, the home page of this website, and call the number and let them know that your foreclosure may be a month or so off, and they'll put you in a fast track to a meeting with Steve where the first meeting and the first consultation with their staff,
It's always free.